I'm going to find the union of G1 and G2, the intersection of G1 and G2, and the ring sum of G1 and G2 if the graphs G1 and G2 are these ones here appearing on the screen. So we have those two graphs, G1 and G2. So I'll start by looking at the union of G1 and G2. So I'll plot my G1 union G2. And by definition, the union of G1 and G2 is the graph which is the set with vertices V1 union V2, the union of the vertices of graph 1 and that of graph number 2. And for the edges, its edges will be the union of the edges in graph number 1 and the edges in graph number 2. So when you look at the vertices there, when you take the union of the vertices that we are having in G1 and G2, we'll be having the vertices V1 up to V6. So I'll plot my V1, then V2, then V3, then V4, V5, and V6. So that is the union of the vertices in G1 and G2. And then we go on and look at now the union of the edges. We are now taking edges that are in G1 or in G2. So let's put all those edges. We have this edge here from V1 to V2, and then from V2 to V3, then from V3 to V5, and then from V5 to V6, and then the next one, V1 to V6, and then we have another one there, V1 to V5, and then the next one we have V2 to V5, and then we have V3 to V4, and then we have V4 to V5. So those are the edges that are in G1 or in G2, the union of the edges in G1 and G2. So what we are now having there, and that's the union of the graphs G1 and G2. I will now move on to the second question, the intersection of G1 and G2. So I would have my graph, the intersection of G1, intersection G2. So by definition, the intersection of G1 and G2 will be looking at the set of vertices that are in G1 and in G2. So that's the intersection here. And for the edges, we are looking at edges that are in G1 and G2. So we are looking at the intersection of edges in G1 and G2. That is what this part is saying here. So when you are looking at this intersection here, look for vertices that are in G1 and in G2. We have vertex number 2, vertex number 3, and vertex number 5. And then for the edges in G1 and edges in G2. So for that intersection there, the edges that are in both graphs, we have the edge from V2 to V3, and then the edge from V3 to V5. So that's the intersection of the edges there, and we are done. So that's our intersection here. I now move on to the last question where we are looking at the ring sum of G1 and G2. So for the ring sum, I'll plot my graph there and I'll call it the ring sum of G1 and G2. So by definition, the ring sum of G1 and G2 is the graph which has the set of vertices V and edges E, where the vertices there are the union of the vertices in graph G1 and graph G2. So we take the union of the vertices in graph G1 and graph G2. For the set of edges there, it will be a set difference. So for the edges, it will be the edges in G1, union the edges in G2, then we remove the intersection of the edges in G1, intersection the edges in G2. So from the union, we remove the intersection of the edges. So what we'll do is I will replot this union here, because that is one which will give us our ring sum. So we have our union here. So our union is including the vertices in G1, union the vertices in G2. But now using this formula here, so in our graph, we are going to remove these edges here, V2 to V3, then the edge V3 to V5. So when we have removed those edges, what we are now remaining with is the ring sum of G1 and G2.